Hello and welcome to another episode of TSS Podcast. I'm Dhwani Joshi and today we are going to talk about research proposal. Joining us today are two amazing academic writing experts, Yakshita and Parvi. Welcome to the pod, guys.
Thank you so much for inviting us here.
So let's start with the basics. What exactly is a research proposal and why is it so important?
So, a research proposal is essentially a blueprint of your research project. It outlines what you want to study, why it's important, and how you plan to do it.
For universities, it is a way to assess the feasibility and originality of your work, your understanding of the field, and whether you are prepared to take up the topic or not.
So before writing a research proposal, what should student prepare for and how can they choose the right topic?
So, you can start around with reading your subject and see what has been studied so you can identify the research gap. You should look around the topics that is of your interest but also aligned with the academic expectations. And if you want to score really well, you should look for topics that allow critical analysis, strong evidence, and originality of the work.
So, balance your passion with what gets you good grades. If it's too broad, it will become hard to structurize. So, aim for something specific that you can realistically research within your timeline.
So let's talk about structure. What does a well-structured research proposal usually include?
So, research proposal has a very clear structure, which starts from after the topic. Then you come down to your introduction, which you need to explain what is the research about, why does this matter, and what is the context behind it. Rational would be you have to understand that why is this research worth doing, what do you want to. You can just quote down real life examples, your academic needs. Coming to the research question, this is exactly you want to state like what do you want to achieve through this research, talking about your focus goals. And research questions would be like what do you want to learn through this research, and a hypothesis would include that what do you expect to find through this research.
Okay.
Now, since we already have the introduction part sorted out, let's just move on to the next chapter, which is your literature review. Now, in this particular chapter, you have to go through what other researchers have done in your particular topic. That means summarizing your methodologies, models, like that. And your main part would be here to find the gap. Gap means what hasn't been researched enough. You have to find something you can add new in your research. Okay, so we have the introduction, literature review is done. So the next step would be research methodology. In this particular chapter, you will explain how will you collect the data and on which basis it should be. Like for example, whether it should be qualitative or quantitative, that comes with whether you want to ask open-ended questions or you want to go for a numerical data, right, based on numbers and stuff. Now when we figure out that part, the next step would be how will you collect it, based on surveys, interviews, experiments, what you're going to do. Now your main focus should be your sampling strategy. This particular section includes who will you include in your study, how many people, and how will you choose them. Right, now we have gone through the introduction part, we know the literature review, we know the methodology, right? So data analysis. In this particular chapter, you will explain how will you make sense of the information that you collected. For that, we can use various softwares like SPSS or do thematic analysis for your interview questions. Now, the main point here is you have to explain how these tools and methods are right for your study. So now this is the most important chapters for which you guys have to stick your ears out because this is important. This chapter is called ethical considerations. This particular chapter will show you how you have to protect your people in the study, in your study basically. So you have to get their permission, you have to maintain the confidentiality of your people. Plus, if your university needs you to get an approval for the study, just make sure to apply because you need ethical considerations, like you are collecting samples and data from the real time basis, being realistic. So you have to take the permission, you have to maintain the confidentiality, and yeah, if need approval, just go for it.
So, after ethical consideration, next chapter would be timeline. You need to provide a clear schedule in the form of Gantt chapter, and you have to list down the key stages like proposal submission and the analysis, data collection, writing, along with the deadlines. So, after the timeline is sorted, it's very important to check upon the expected results. Even if you do not have any results yet, but you should have what you're expecting and what outcome you should what it should have through your research. And coming down to the references, it is a very important part because you need to list down all the sources you have used in a very proper format provided by the university, and also make sure that it's very complete and consistent because it reflects your academic work.
Okay, so now I would like to know how can students decide which research methodology to use, qualitative, quantitative, or mixed methods?
Right. So choosing the right research method depends on what you're looking for. And here your research question is the key. For example, you can use qualitative methods like interviews and surveys if you're exploring experiences, opinions, and it fits best with questions like how or when. If you want to play with numbers and data, you can absolutely opt for the quantitative method if you're measuring things like how much, how often, stuff like that. Or you can just directly opt for the mixed methods if you need both. For example, surveys to see the patterns and interviews to understand the reason behind them.
Ask yourself that do you need the detailed insights or measurable data or both, because this is the right way to choose what kind of approach you would like to go for.
Exactly.
Okay, so next come data collection. How do you choose the right data collection method?
So, if you want to choose the right data collection, that very much depends on what kind of information do you need and how are you going to gather it. So, you can use surveys, for example, if you are targeting a large group, because it helps you to get measurables and straightforward answers.
Right. And you can choose interviews if you're looking forward to get detailed and in-depth information from your people, because interviews can help you understand their experiences, opinions, and ideas better, which just a normal numbers and numerical form can't.
Agreed. And you can also use focus groups
Right.
because it works on interactive discussions and if you want to watch behavior in real time.
Right. So think about your research goals, your participants, your data that will answer your question the best, right? So that will help you in pick up the right method.
Okay, so if you could leave student with one tip for the proposal, what would it be?
I would rather say that keep it very crystal clear. You should mention like what are you going to study, why this matters, and how you do it with a method that's exactly doable in your time frame.
Right. And write clearly. Don't use big words just to sound smart, because writing clearly impresses your reviewers much faster than using complicated words. So if you get stuck, just contact the student helpline for the expert feedback. Getting help earlier will save you a lot of time later.
And that brings us to the end of today's episode on how to write a research proposal. A big thank you to our experts for sharing such valuable insights.
Right. And if you're planning to write your research proposal, just remember, take it step by step and please be focused.
And if you need any help with the research proposal or any of your studies, visit the studenthelpline.io. We are here to help you.
And don't forget to like, comment, and share to the TSH podcast, and do subscribe for more useful content.